Madison scene. Wanna get up and go to the latest show. Theater, dance, music and arts. If you wanna be in the know, show Biz Buzz with Bruno. A singer, an author or a playwright, a dancer or an actor in the spotlight. Artists, poets, comedians too. Look at all the things Bruno has for you. If you're really keen on the Madison scene, wanna get up and go to the latest show. Theater, dance, music and arts. If you wanna be in the know, show Biz Buzz with Bruno.
Showbiz Buzz with Bruno is presented by madstheater.com. And I've got a lot to say.
Presented by Mads Theater. Theater.com.
Hello and welcome to Showbiz Buzz with Bruno, presented by Mads Theater. Welcome to No King's Day, and also welcome to Scott Hayden from Forward Theater Company. Scott, thank you for joining us on this incredibly busy Saturday afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Michael. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So, for people who don't know who you are, those of us that are familiar with you, give us a little bit of your background and your previous history from where you came from to how you got here.
Okay, all right. I was but a simple boy in the middle of a wheat field in central Kansas. And at a very young age, my mother signed me up for a youth theater workshop at the local college. And I was bit by the theater bug. And that set me off on my adventures as an actor. I was an actor for many years. And lived in New York and Chicago, and then actually came to Wisconsin when I was working. Never thought I would live in Wisconsin, but I worked here for a number of years, and then my wife started going to graduate school at the UW, and so we lived here for a few years, and we got a taste of Madison, and then we kind of went out and we did some other things, but when we had the chance, we boomeranged back, and there was a job at a theater company called Forward Theater, and I took it, and that's what kind of landed me here in Madison.
And when was that? What year was that?
That was 2013.
So you've been here for a while, though.
I have, yeah.
And you've been with Forward since then, right?
Since then, yeah. All season, this is my 12th season, yeah.
Wow. And what is your actual job besides everything that you do there?
I am called the Director of Marketing and Communications at Forward Theater. So I handle all of our advertising, all of our marketing, all of our social media.
There you go.
And represent the theater in that way. I like to be the voice of the theater whenever I have the chance.
And now Ford Theater Company has been around for quite a while.
Yeah, since 2008.
That's when
2009.
That's when it actually became. That's when they incorporated as Forward Theater Company, and so many brilliant shows over the past seasons. And are you on any of the creative end of it at all, or are you just on the social and marketing part of it? Or is that all Jen?
It's interesting. I mean, technically just on the marketing and social media part, but Forward Theater is a really small organization. We do big plays, but we do them with just a few people. And our staff is relatively small. We have an open office. And so a lot of the things that we do and a lot of the decisions that we make are part of a group. We're all involved. We also have a really unique structure in that we like to call it the three-legged stool. We have our board of directors, we have our staff, but then we also have an advisory company, which is made up of Wisconsin actors, designers, directors, writers, and they're the ones who read the plays, who give their input. They have to approve the season before we do it the next year. So we have a lot of different hands shaping who we are and what we do.
And you're also a resident company of the Overture Center. Is
We
that
are.
correct?
That's correct.
So is it exclusively to all your shows there? Or have you branched out and done them in other venues as well?
No, it's the Playhouse at Overture Center is our home, and that's where we've produced everything, save for the pandemic when we were producing theater in our homes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we all have been there.
Which we did, and that was an adventure. But otherwise, yes, always in the Playhouse.
Cool. And your upcoming production is Gutenberg, the musical.
It is.
And is that a Midwest premiere or is it a Wisconsin premiere? Do you know?
No, I think
has it been
Gutenberg
produced here?
I think Gutenberg played in Madison a number of years ago. It might have been music.
Really?
It might have been either maybe that wasn't Music Theater Madison. I could have sworn Gutenberg was here a number of years back. And I know it just had a revival on Broadway. It was super successful with Josh Gad and Andrew
and Reynolds.
Thank you very much. And so I've known about the show, but I had never read it. I had never listened to it. I enjoy musicals, but it's just a show that I kind of just skipped me. And I saw the first read through on Tuesday, and it's a riot.
It's really funny.
Oh my gosh. I feel like if you don't know anything about musicals, you're going to have a great time. You'll have a great time. But if you do like musicals, it is like, it's a love letter to musical theater. It's a story of these two guys named Bud and Doug, and they are very excited to welcome you into this theater space that they have spent all of their money renting, and they've hired a band, and somewhere in the audience there are some Broadway producers, and they proceed to say, and now we're going to present our hopefully Broadway bound musical for you about Johann Gutenberg, inventor of the printing press. But they also let you know that they've done very little research, and it's very apparent throughout the entire show. But it is hysterical. It is a laugh out loud show. I love it.
And it just goes to prove you can make a musical out of any subject.
Literally.
Any subject.
Literally. You can Google something, and I think the way they call it, they say it's historical fiction, which means it's not true, but is true. Is that right? I think he says historical fiction. It's historical.
Kind of like what we're living through now,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. Yes.
This is all historical fiction from day to day. Is this with a full orchestra, or is it with a piano? Is it with a combo, or
three-piece band?
Three-piece band.
So 2 keyboards and percussion.
Nice. And who are your two leads in the show?
Greg Pregel and Doug Clemens. So Greg Pregel, you might have seen at Forward Theater. He's done a couple productions with us. He was in a production called The Wanderers a couple years back. And then he was in our production of King James just about 1 year ago. Doug Clemens, I know, is a well-known Milwaukee actor, but he has never been with Forward. This is his first Forward Theater show. So we're excited to welcome him too.
And there are other characters in the show as well. It's not just a 2-man show.
It is a 2-man show.
It is.
The band is on stage.
Okay.
But the two, Bud and Doug, are the main characters. And the fun thing about this play is the musical that they are presenting does have many characters, but they play all of them. And they do so by switching these trucker hats that have the name of the character right across the top. And so they're effortlessly switching between characters and singing and dancing and doing
it's like Greater Tuna.
It really is. Exactly.
Now that you mention it, I heard about it, I thought, oh my God, this is the musical version. It's just like Greater Tuna.
Have you ever done a production of Greater Tuna?
I have not. I've always thought, when I was still in my acting days, that I would have loved to have done that show. So many people and friends of mine that I know that have done it over the years.
And now there's like 4 of them.
Yeah. And Tuna Christmas, and there's
Tuna Christmas. I've seen
Tuna casserole.
I think there was a 4th of July themed one, maybe like a Tuna America or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and that hasn't been done here in a long time. I don't think.
Maybe we have to think.
I think university. That. I think the last time I saw it was at University Theater.
Yeah, I think you're
way
right.
Before the pandemic. It was way when I was still doing things at Channel 3. And I saw a production there, and it was really fun.
It's one of those shows that is so silly. Audiences absolutely love it. It is so fun. It has so much heart. Yeah, I love the I love the tuna series.
And this has the same kind of, the same kind of concept. I mean,
It
it's like,
does, absolutely.
it's just, you don't expect things that are going to happen. They kind of happen.
They really do. Yeah, it's irreverent. It's really, I mean, I said it's kind of a love letter to musicals, but I mean, if you're familiar with any of the tropes that are in musical theater, they talk about them and then they do them at the same time, which I think is really clever.
And this is all original music, right? They're
It
not
is.
taking like old musicals and just and redoing the lyrics.
No, totally
right?
original music.
Yeah.
It came from their hearts, and I think it was written by Anthony King and Scott Brown. But I don't know the rest of their work. But
Okay.
yeah.
And you open November 6th. Is that correct?
Yep, 6th
So,
through the 30th. So we're extending the run.
oh, good.
We usually run for 3 weeks. This year, due to demand, which is a wonderful thing, we have added 5 performances. So you can see the show right after Thanksgiving. The Friday, Saturday, and Sunday following Thanksgiving, we're doing 5 extra shows. So if you need to work off some turkey, or you just have to get out of the house,
Okay.
or maybe you want to take your friends and family and go do something before the holidays, you can
Why
come.
not?
You can come check it out at Overture Center.
And then what's the show following that then in the 2026 season?
So yeah, our winter production is a play called Ironbound.
What's that about?
It's a play by Martina Mayock, and it is about a woman named Dara, who is a Polish immigrant. It is a darkly funny drama that spans 22 years of her life in the United States. And the premise, you see her at this bus stop throughout the show, and so you're seeing her at different points in her life throughout those 22 years, and so it's how she's dealing with life, work, love, and just trying to stay human through it all. It's a really beautiful play, and directed by Marcella Kearns, who is an Forward Theater artistic associate, but also well known in Milwaukee. She's done a lot of work there too. So that one features Cassandra Bissell, who's been in some shows with us. Jonathan Wainwright, who's a Milwaukee actor, Josh Krause, who is an advisory company member at Forward, but I think is also a company member out at American Players Theater.
Right.
And then someone new to Forward named Gabriel Anderley. So it's a star-studded cast.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then what's after that?
After that, our spring production, which we're very excited about, is the rolling world premiere of a play called Lady Disdain, a comedy based on Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing.
Aha.
And if you know Lauren Gunderson, you may have seen her work at our theater. We've done a few of her shows now. We did Silent Sky back in 2016. We did I and You, I think the year after or 2 years after that. And then just a season and a half ago, we did a world premiere of hers called Artemisia, about the painter Artemisia Gentileschi. And so this is a brand new play. We're doing it in partnership with a solo rep, and it is a romp about. See how I start. It takes place in a recording studio, and there are Beatrice and Benedict, or B and Ben, are two very well-known audiobook voiceover artists.
I love it.
And they specialize in the romance genre, which until recently I did not realize is one of the biggest genres right now known to man. The fan base is huge.
Wow.
There are subgenres of subgenres of subgenres, and they're pretty spicy. And so there's experienced and kind of legendary audiobook voiceover artists who unknowingly are starting to, I believe, working on the same project, and against their will, falling for each other all over again.
I love that. What a great concept.
Yeah.
Now, is the playwright local, or is she?
No, Lauren, originally based on the West Coast. She spent a lot of her time, I believe, in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. I think she just moved overseas. I think she is now in the UK.
Wow.
But yeah, she's been here a few times when we worked on her new stuff. She's come here to develop work and things like that, which is great. She's wonderful.
That's very cool. And now, if Forward do we consider it's not an equity? Is it an equity theater?
We're an
It is
equity
a full
theater.
equity theater.
We're an SPT 7, small professional theater 7, and we've had that status throughout our whole history.
And that includes that's all the way down the line, then, right? Is that directors, set designers,
It depends.
actors?
That depends. Mostly it's actors and stage manager.
Okay.
And I would say because of our agreement with equity, we don't have to hire all equity actors. So we have it's usually a mix of equity and non-equity in the cast.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's 1, 2, 3. You already did one previously.
We did.
Was the one that was in
September.
In September.
It was a play called Primary Trust.
That's it.
By Ebony Booth. And that was just a wonderful play. I love that.
So do you have a set number that you try to do every year? Because I know that, based on how you can get into the Overture Center, you have to give you up the space.
The schedule goes way back.
So many other companies. You have to, book it way in advance.
Absolutely.
But usually there's like 3 to 4 a season. Is that your season?
Yeah. When we first started, it was a 3-show season, and we started in November, and we would run through April-ish, depending on when we had the space. And then we kind of built things up to the point where we thought we might be ready to expand the season. And in 2018, we started doing 4 shows a year. And we've been doing that ever since. So our schedule is typically September, then a production in November, and then something in January/February, and then something in either, late March or April-ish into May sometimes. But that's, 4 shows.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then how far in advance you may have answered this question. In advance, do you select the season afterwards? Is that like an ongoing process? Like, are you already like 5 years into the future?
Not that far. Not that far. Okay. So it's interesting that you asked that, because there's something that I think is really unique about Forward Theater, is that when we're in the process of planning a season, we always ask ourselves, how do we meet this moment, right now? So you can't go too far in advance, right? And the theater's not entertainment. It's also a reflection of who we are and what's going on right now. And right now, it kind of feels like the world might be writing stories for us that we can't control.
True.
That things, the way they are, things might be like that all the time. But I think theater it's a reminder that stories can be changed, they can be rewritten, and so that's kind of where this season is. We that's why we chose the 4 plays that we chose. So we just approved next season literally a week ago.
Wow.
And that's as far out as we go, in an attempt to sort of capture where we think we are as Americans, and so we kind of choose our plays thinking about that.
And do the ideas for plays that are out there, do you have like a dramaturge, or is that your advisory board and Jen that kind of work collaboratively?
It is. It's also, we have a literary committee. So
okay.
This committee of, I think, around 10 people read a lot of plays over the course of the year, 40, 50 plays. And then they discuss the plays. And if they find one that they think is worth sort of moving up the ladder, they will recommend it to the advisory company. And then the advisory company will all read that one play and then discuss and either put it on the shelf for yes, maybe, or, say, nope, this isn't right for us. And over the course of that time, we kind of keep track of those plays that rose to the top. And then we put them together and kind of say, how do these fit? Do they fit? Can we get the rights for that play?
Right.
And that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Sure.
And then once we kind of narrow it down, Jen does offers alternatives. So like, here's what I think would be the ideal season for us, but here's an alternative that includes a different play that we had talked about. Or if we can't get the rights to that play, we might replace it with this play, and we kind of vote on it based on that. And we try to do it just 1 year out. But it's a committee. It's a big, it's a long process. And these plays have been read over the course of the last year. And they get put to a vote, and it's gotta be a majority vote before we say yes. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now, is it the same committee of people that decide who directs and who gets cast in these?
No, that is a Jen. That's a Jen thing.
Okay.
As the artistic director, she has control over over who's directing the shows. Although I think the directors also have some say in who they may want to have design their shows.
Oh,
From
sure,
lighting
sure.
designers and sound designers, they may have special requests in that regard. But we have a great relationship with so many Wisconsin designers that it's easy to it's easy to fill those gaps with whoever might be available. Yeah.
And there's so many talented people
Mm.
that are even Madison and the surrounding area. It's like I'm always astonished, number one, at how many companies there are.
Mhm.
Even since when I first came back in 2001, it's crazy
And thriving.
and thriving. That's the point that's made. You used to have to go to Milwaukee or Minneapolis or Chicago
Mhm.
to make a living
Mhm.
at all.
Mhm.
I mean, there was it was always community theater or it was the university
Yeah.
or that APT.
Right.
And if you weren't there, you weren't making a living in Madison.
Absolutely. To go back a little further, even before we moved here permanently, and when we were here back in 2007 through 2009, I believe, that was when the Madison Rep was still open.
Oh, right, right.
And I was at that point still working as an actor. I was still looking for work. I had not moved on to the marketing part of my life. And so I actually did a couple of shows at the Madison Rep. And then while we were there, we watched it close. And I remember in the community, people wondering where's the work? I mean,
Right.
where's it going to come from? And Forward Theater was kind of born out of that. A lot of artists got together in a room and said, we have to keep actors working, and designers and
Mhm,
writers and
mhm.
directors. How do we give artists a home? How do we give them jobs? And that's really that's the impetus for how Forward was born. It's really kind of incredible.
And it's a tribute to how it's continued to be successul.
Absolutely.
Because there have been theater companies that have come and gone,
Mhm.
having been born and raised here in Madison,
Right.
and watch the progress of I've been doing theater since I was in grade school.
Mhm.
With the stagecoach players going around all the playgrounds doing 5 shows a day in repertory, learning my chops at the tender age of 13 years old.
rules at that point.
No.
We weren't. No, there's no hours. There's no hours. No weeks.
Exactly. So to say that when back in the day when it was the Madison Civic Rep,
Yeah.
I was acting in shows when it was
Yeah.
at Press House. So it's
Yeah.
like that's how far back the history of that goes, and that morphed into being Forward Theater, which is a great thing.
I agree. I have to. It makes me think about when you talk about the success of Forward Theater and just how it has stayed. It's had some
Mhm.
staying power.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's in large part due to the audiences here.
Right.
Really, our subscribers make up 60% of our ticket sales.
That's
It's
great.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible.
And we are very excited to say that we have an over 80% renewal rate, which means people keep wanting to they keep wanting to see theater. They want to have that experience. They want that intimate experience with other human beings, and the catharsis that happens when you go see a show. There's some really loyal theater goers in this town and in the state.
Mhm.
But that's really what has kept us going. It's amazing.
So was I'm trying to get the dates right. So was Forward in the old Civic Center when it was still the Isthmus Playhouse?
No.
Or did that not happen until after the Overture Center was remodeled and rebuilt?
After Overture Center, which I think Overture officially opened in like 2000, was it 4 or 5 maybe?
I think it was 2005 on my birthday.
Was it really?
Yeah, so when you look at the plaque, it says September 18th. And I was like, "What? That was so. Thank you,
Oh,
Pleasant,
that
and
was so
thank you,
nice.
thank you, Jerry, for opening it on my birthday and putting
How
a plaque up
lovely.
in the lobby." It's
How
so
lovely.
nice.
I think Forward Theater, I think, was founded in 2008, and
Okay.
then there were that first season or so. I think they did like a live radio show. They did a reading.
Uh-huh.
It was a really very
Right.
modest, like 1 or 2 things. But I think they very quickly moved into the Playhouse, just rented the space, obviously, but then didn't become a resident until a couple years after that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's been the same ever since.
Yeah, because I remember when I first came back in 2001, I was actually working in the box office of the old Civic Center,
Oh, yeah.
you know, down in the hole, where the old steps to the was it the rotunda stage for
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And then when it was going through the construction, it was like they mandated that you had to wear a hard hat at your job, and I was like,
You were
bye.
at risk.
I was
You were
like,
at
bye, see you later. I ain't gonna sell tickets and have a brick fall on my head.
Good.
that was a big transitional period in there.
You know, when I moved here, we moved here back in 2006 or 7 for school. I didn't realize that Overture Center was so new. It felt like it had always been a part of the city. And it wasn't until I'd lived here for a while that I realized that we'd just come there. We'd shown up right after it basically had opened. And it was still kind of figuring out what it wanted to be.
Right.
And it's been pretty amazing watching its evolution over the years as really just a hosting, presenting company. But they've really opened their arms to the resident companies now. And I think, they're all working together really well.
Yeah, I love the fact that, that not only do they bring in, the huge Broadway series, and they bring in, outside, the big shows, they're also really committed to getting, like you say, making sure the Madison local people get the dance companies like Canopy, and they get like Forward Theater, and they get the Children's Theater. And all the, so they respect the fact that there are professional companies in Madison that need that lovely space. And they could say, no, we're only going to bring in the big ticket Hamiltons, and that's all we're going to do here because it pays the big bills. But it's a tribute that everybody that I talk to that comes into Madison is like, wow, you've got this amazing facility.
That really embraces the arts around the community as well. And I would say it's even created its own community in a way. I would even say even now, even more than ever, the leadership they have right now feels very strongly about not only embracing the resident companies, but promoting the work that they're doing, and really keeping them on the map, and letting their Broadway audience know that there's other alternatives too, that they can come when Hamilton's not in town, there's still something to see at Overture Center. And that's
there's always something.
There is.
I mean, there's always some activity or something going on there, which is really wonderful. Because a lot of places I've been to, other cities, it's like they, in the summertime,
it's quiet.
It's quiet. I mean, because everybody's outside, everybody's picnicking, everybody's on the lakes, everybody's like traveling, and you couldn't hear anything but crickets if you tried to do a show in the summer. That's completely changed.
It is. It's really wonderful. We're very fortunate. Like I said, I grew up in the middle of a wheat field. So the first Broadway or any sort of show that I ever saw, I think, was Cats. And it was a tour. We had to drive 3 hours to Kansas City, the big city, to see Cats. And so that was as far. I had to drive that many hours just to see that. And it's right at our doorstep. It's really amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Anything else that we haven't covered that we need to know about Forward Theater or about your involvement with Forward Theater?
If it hasn't been on the screen, we're forwardtheater.com. Very easy to get tickets that way. You can also swing by the Overture Center box office, and they have all the stuff that you might want to have. But you can also follow us. We're at Forward Theater anywhere you go, anywhere on social media. So join the conversation and check out what we're doing.
And are you still doing season tickets, or is that because you've done the first one? You're still doing the last three as
Season
a block?
Tickets are done.
It's all just individual tickets now?
Correct. That's
okay.
Correct. Yep. We'll start the new campaign for next year in March of 26. So if you're interested in joining up, you should. We offer, for the first time, we started it last year. We started a first timer subscription package, which was 40% off the cost of regular tickets. And then the next year, we encourage you to join with a regular subscription. But it's brought a lot of new people into the building. It's really something. So if you're even mildly interested, for the price of essentially 1 or 2 shows, you can see the entire season.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Gutenberg, the musical, if you want to have a great laugh, it's a funny show. And I'm sure your characters are well-versed and hysterical.
They're so good.
Get tickets for it now. I can't wait to see it. It's one of my favorite favorite newish musicals.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you for coming in today on this amazingly busy Saturday.
The pleasure's mine.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Gin Chocolate Bottle Rockets. This has been Showbiz Buzz with Bruno, and we'll see you next time.